Hi everybody, welcome to the Dozuki Workshop series. This is season 2 and our episode on videography. We're just gonna get started here for the next couple minutes, make sure that everybody out there in the audience can hear us, can see us. If you have any problems, feel free to type in the messenger in the Hangouts to talk to our technicians, and they will help you out as best they can. It's always a good idea to restart your browser. It's just kind of an idea to help you get through the Hangouts better. But meanwhile, I'm Kate Emma Smith, the Director of Outreach, for Dozuki, and these are my fantastic experts. So if you want to introduce yourselves really fast.
Great. Hi guys, I'm Gwendolyn with iFixit. I am the host and writer for our YouTube channel, youtube.com/iFixitYourself.
And I'm Andrew, one of our lead technical writers at iFixit.com. We write thousands of repair guides on everything from toasters to cars. So we'll be both leading some insight in this
absolutely.
workshop.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited. Definitely folks have been wanting an episode on videography for a very long time, so we're pretty thrilled. But again, we're just going to take about 1 to 2 more minutes just to make sure everybody's in the clear. So just bear with us for a moment and we will get started pretty quick. But yeah, but thanks guys so much for being here again. We're really thrilled, especially because iFixit, all the experts that we've had coming through iFixit have been very popular episodes, and iFixit just is so renowned for their technical writing skills, so this is pretty exciting.
Yeah,
but,
Julia's was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
For anybody familiar with Julia's webinar on 45 minutes to writing, we've all worked with her, so definitely, yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully we can add to hers.
Absolutely, I think between Julia's, Miro's photography and videography, and this is now the videography one, we'll have
pulling it all together.
A whole collection, a whole iFixit collection. Absolutely. But have you guys been working on any new projects right now, filming and stuff, or?
Absolutely. We are about to release our Apple Watch repairs.
Ooh.
So we did the screen, the battery, and the adhesive, putting it back together. So there's not much inside to repair.
Yeah.
I mean, you did he wrote the repairs. I'm doing the videos for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's been fun.
Have people already been asking, like, I already cracked my screen and I need it fixed right now, or?
Not too many people, but we just want to be ready early.
Exactly. Yeah. I just let people on my Twitter feed know that we were working on them, but I said I hope you don't need them anytime soon. That's a brand new piece of hardware there.
No, absolutely. Remind me, what was the repairability score on that one? It was.
I think it was a 5 actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the screen and battery are all you'd really care about, and those are the
Right.
easiest things to replace.
Yeah.
Which still isn't easy, but.
Right.
Definitely. I remember iFixit CEO Kyle, he did that, I think it was like just kind of a consultation with a repair watchman, and that was really fantastic, kind of just comparing, kind of classic timepieces to the new watch and everything. And I'm not sure I really want to shove out the money for that particular watch, but it was pretty cool to look at and just to hear all the different analysis from folks everywhere, since this is kind of the big premiere ticket item of the year.
Super new thing.
Yeah.
Very different from anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Well, if everybody, if you're just joining us right now, we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. If you have any technical problems, just feel free to type into our Hangout forum. You can ask our technicians any questions if you have audio problems, visual problems, anything like that. If not, if you can't get a hold of them or you just want to try to fix it yourself, just restart your browser. But in the meantime, we are about a minute past the hour, so we're going to get started if everybody's ready. So welcome everyone to the Dozuki Workshop Series, Season 2, our episode on videography. In case you're not familiar with me already, my name is Kate Emma Smith, the Director of Outreach of Dozuki. You can contact me either at kate@dozuki.com or at my Twitter handle at Kate Emma Smith for any questions, either during the show, after the show, whatever you like. And let's introduce our awesome experts today. So Andrew, do you want to take off first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Andrew. I'm one of our lead technical writers at iFixit. We've got thousands of repair guides, and I've been working for almost 3 years here at iFixit, writing over 300 repair guides and teardowns, and doing a few videos as well, so we've got a bit of experience there. And I also work with our education team, which works with over 40 universities across the country, teaching technical writing to university students. And so the things that we've learned teaching them are things that we've learned for ourselves and for Dozuki. So.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Some great work going on there. I mean, again, like you said, you're leading a tech writing team and churning out tons and tons of guides, either on new products, old products, all that great stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, glad to.
And Gwendolyn, we're so excited to have you as well. This is the first time we have 2 experts, so I'm excited to introduce her as well.
Great. I am Gwendolyn Gay, and I am the host and writer for our YouTube channel. Again, it is youtube.com/ifixityourself, and I do a lot of what Andrew does, but in video form. So we do a lot of repairs, we do teardowns as well, and they're mostly reviews of your in-depth teardowns, but we try to get the information just on a different channel for everyone out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, today's episode is Videography Tips and Tricks, a technical writer's crash course. We will be going through an arrangement of topics today, all about videography. So whether it's why you should care about videography in your guides, how to do it correctly, maybe even equipment, if that's a question that you have, we're going to go through all the kind of the nooks and crannies of videography. This is particularly catered, though, towards videos within technical writing, so in maybe a procedure and very how-to style, but a lot of the tips and tricks I think Gwen and Andrew have prepared for us today are applicable to even photography or other video adventures you might want to pursue. We are gonna put out a poll to just see where the audience is at today. So maybe for the tech writers out there, do you already use videos? Do you use photographs, maybe illustrations, maybe a combination of all or none at all? We just want to gauge where everybody's at, so you should be seeing that on your screen just in a moment. So let's kick it off with the why. Why would you have videos and guides? Absolutely. Either one, you can take the lead.
I feel like there are some things. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. We'll
Problems with having 2 people.
Yeah.
This is a new experience for all of us.
We'll take turns.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, for me, I think sometimes it is hard to show a step in a static picture form or with just words. So in the case of explaining the pressure needed for something or the direction of something, I think a video could be helpful.
Yeah, like showing some rotations that are really hard to get in pictures. And also there's some things that are just impossible to convey in pictures and text, like shaking a custard for a recipe. You know, like how do you convey that? Like the right jiggle. You need video for that.
The jiggle of a custard
Yes.
for our food manufacturers out there. But yeah, absolutely. I think we can all agree that most people are probably fairly visual, and sometimes text, if you're writing your work instructions maybe in a Word document, text might not always convey, like you both said, either complicated processes or strange things like texture. Like how would you really accurately write about that? So yeah, I love kind of what you guys said was that they mimic a one-on-one expert apprentice kind of relationship that we all crave when learning for the first time. And I know that this, especially because Gwendolyn, you're on YouTube, and how-to guides are so popular on YouTube now. It just shows the hunger for videos. We found this one. It's how to tie a tie. Pretty simple, with over 7 million views just to tie a tie. So that was pretty popular. And then Andrew, you guys put videos into your guides, which would look like this. Do you remember what guide this was?
This is a guide on a Patagonia jacket, I think. So this is replacing the zipper, and this procedure right here is just showing all the different folds of the fabric around the zipper that you have to make to pin it and then sew it, which is just a lot of things all to show at once.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Gwendolyn, if you could tell us a little bit about the fantastic YouTube channel that we have. I mean, just like the kind of the how to tie a tie. I know that there's a lot of followers that you've accumulated over the last couple years, just within 2 years, I think, of being here. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, well, the things that we put inside our guides are almost exactly the opposite of what you do, and what we're probably talking about today. So I'm the extreme, where the entire guide is a video.
Right.
But definitely within our steps, we make sure that the close-ups of each part of the repair, every step, is definitely more of what we're talking about today, where you would use a video to show a step. But I think it's very influential when someone needs to just see it done. Maybe they don't understand the jargon, or maybe they just don't understand what part you're talking about. You're using the right language, but someone doesn't know what it's called. So a video really shows them what they might be needing to do. So
yeah, absolutely. I think that's why I'm probably you both have such great kind of perceptions on the whole process, because you're fantastic at doing kind of an overview, kind of more of a summary of, okay, I just want to get the highlights in there, which is why so many of your videos at the top of teardown guides and everything, which is great. And then for the small, money, detailed shots, you know, Andrew and the rest of the technical writing team might do the short ones, certainly. So one question you might have, not only, okay, so why you would put videos in there, but how would you even begin to strategize where to put videos in? I think that's something that people are just like, I'm just going to put videos all throughout it. That'll make it easy and effective, right? So, I mean, maybe you can talk a little bit about, how do you decide when to add a video, when to not, maybe not?
I mean, it definitely ties into when a video is useful. Like we said earlier, like very specific cases, just a certain procedure that's difficult or something that only a video can portray, not all over the place.
Right.
If you're using Dozuki, then it's a really useful tool for storyboarding, because you start out by making your entire procedure in the guide with photos and text, and then anywhere where you need a little bit more detail, a little bit more help, more of a supplement, that's where you want to put a video in. And you can sort of figure that out as you're going and as you're building the procedure. Like, oh, this is really hard to show in pictures.
Yeah.
You probably need a video here.
Absolutely.
right, I would definitely be careful though if you're a big fan of video, putting a video in every step, because then you get people who are assuming that they know what that step is going to be, and they don't watch that video.
Oh, yeah.
And in a picture would just be helpful, more
Absolutely.
helpful than a video.
Because a photo gives you all the details just at once in a single glance.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know, you all work with text, photos, maybe some illustrations and videos. So it's hard to juggle, especially for most people who maybe they don't have as much experience. Maybe they're new to the job, or maybe they're just creating these new repair manuals or guides from old documents. So they're like, what do I do? But I do want to mention our first point. So using videos to supplement your photos. What did you all mean by that?
Well, like I said earlier, when you're storyboarding, you've got your photos started out, and then you realize you need more. You add the video in, and it gives more detail and more explanation. It helps what you already have, so it supplements it.
And a lot of our guides, sometimes they have 3 pictures for one step to show the progression of the step. And maybe a video would just be better in that case if you need more than 3 pictures to show how the step works.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think we broke it down here to fill out your guide with photos, then add videos for greater detail. So you mean to kind of add in the videos second? Is that what we're?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, maybe err on holding back on the videos for a little bit until seeing what probably you need. The next one is you can fill text as you develop the procedure and photos as you take them. So is there a recommended order perhaps that people should privilege, text, photos, and videos? Would it be that particular order or?
Pretty much. I mean, personally, I shoot the procedure. So I figure out what the procedure is, and then I shoot it in photos. And then as I'm editing photos and uploading them into the steps, I'm putting in photos and text together. Sort of.
Okay. Yeah, so it's almost simultaneous then. Okay, great. And then, of course, ensuring that your procedure is clear and comprehensive. Even more so, be comprehensive. I love that you guys put that. Don't assume your users are doing anything you haven't shown or told them to do. Yeah, this no assumption thing, that's probably a great thing, because a lot of our users are handling huge machinery, maybe cars, casting things, all that stuff. So, so when you talk about assumption, I guess, especially I see when you work with, students who would kind of go through just all of your content and not pay attention to details or assume they already know how to do it. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've been working on iPad guides a lot lately, and in iPads there are tons of little pieces of tape holding every cable down. And you have to show every piece of tape being removed, because if you don't, then between steps, things look completely different. Cables will be exposed or missing. And when your users are trying to follow that and things look really different from what they're dealing with, they get confused, they get angry, they are worried that they've broken something or they're doing something wrong.
A lot of times it's black tape, so you can't even see it's hiding a screw or something. And they're like, I don't see the screw, but you have to explain, remove the tape first, and that might seem like common sense
like
while you're doing the repair. But and you should also remember who your audience is. Sometimes there's a language barrier, or maybe English. If you're English is not the first language for some of your viewers. So make sure making sure that everything is completely explained.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, we do have our first question today from Tyler Perry. He's asking, is there a general guideline for when to use a video in place of a sequence of photos? So I guess, maybe for folks who just want to kind of a quick tip on that, what would you, I guess, say to Tyler on for sequence of photos versus the video? Is there maybe a hard and fast rule, or is it just playing it by ear and feeling out your audience, perhaps?
I think for me, it's playing it by ear, or I think it's, if, like we said, it's something a lot more complicated, where the 3 photos don't cut it,
Right.
Which you can pretty much tell as you're shooting the photos that it's you're missing something, or there's an important detail left out, or maybe you need to show 4 sides of a component and you only have 3 views. So I don't know if there's an exactly like hard and fast rule.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure it definitely has a lot to do with just kind of who your users are and how, if you're on the pulse of what they would need.
Right.
And especially what Gwendolyn said about ESL users, English as second language, that would be probably, you maybe take that into factor, I'd imagine, as well. Yeah, great question, Tyler. Thank you so much. We do have the answers from the poll as well, so we'll throw that out there. So again, the question was, what was the main type of media you currently use in your document efforts? 33% of you said videos, so a lot of you are already involved in videography. 47% photos, 5 illustrations, and 15% text. So we have actually a pretty broad range
That's pretty good.
of folks out there. So this is great. So when kind of filming your video and everything, I do want us to talk definitely about an effective video versus a detrimental one, because we clearly are fans of videos. You both live in tech writing and videos all day, every day. But not all videos, I assume, are created equal. So we do have a couple example clips of, and then so maybe we can show you all those and see why they do or do not work. So this is the first one we found by a company who's creating cast molding for parts. I can't say what the company is or what exactly they are doing, but it is, as I understand it, kind of a melted aluminum being poured into a cast for a part to go out into an assembly line at some point. It's a video. It's definitely a video. What would you say? How would we rate this video? Good, bad?
I think it's a little confusing what's going on.
Right.
It obviously needs some accompanying text to supplement it.
And
help
that's a
explain.
good point. Your video should be able to stand alone as an entire step. And if we're watching this and we don't know what the step is supposed to entail, it's also very shaky. So luckily this is a wide shot, but if it were close up and showing, the screw and the screwdriver, you wouldn't be getting a great video there. So
So this could have benefited from a tripod.
yes, very much so.
Yeah, and we will definitely get to pie trods. I'm clearly hungry today. No, tripods soon. But yeah, I agree. I don't really create videos, but even as a user who isn't familiar with videography, I already know I don't like it. It's again like shaky, like you said. It doesn't feel very in focus at all. So I'm not even really sure what kind of machine that is or anything. But we do have another video coming up, one that maybe is a little bit better in our opinion. So Andrew, this is actually your handiwork.
Yeah, this is from a fairly recent teardown on a 13-inch MacBook Retina Pro. And this was actually in the middle of teardown, but it turned out to be a pretty good video for a guide step as well.
Right.
This is removing the motherboard, which is actually a fairly tricky, complicated procedure. We usually do it in pictures, but I think it's very helpful to have it in a video form like this, because
It looks like there's a wiggle,
there's a wiggle and there's a
Okay.
couple of different angles required to get the ports all into the side there.
Right. You guys, because on first glance, it looks like you're just kind of pulling it right out, and it might seem like, oh, I could just do that with photos. But so the wiggle that you're feeling though, do you remember what exactly that was? It was just.
Yeah, I mean, all the ports
all the
have
ports
little
were-
EMI
okay.
shields that have little fingers that trap in the side, and it's just, you kind of need to wiggle it out and be gentle with it. And
Great.
so this shows that pretty well.
Yeah.
That's a great video.
We do have a question from Tim Davis about it. Is there a recommended maximum length for videos? We actually will get to that very soon, Tim, just in a little bit. But to give you the quick and dirty, err on a shorter side.
Absolutely.
The more is not more, less is more. Definitely, I think in this this arena. But we'll show you one more video, and again, I think it's of the same teardown,
MacBook,
right?
Yeah.
So kind of same idea. There's definitely a wiggle there that you were trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And so I guess in comparison to the casting, melting, molten lava video we watched earlier, why is this one, in your professional opinion, much better? Perhaps besides the obvious, but we can say the obvious anyway.
Well, I mean, it's stable. It's in focus. It shows the procedure very clearly.
It's short.
And it's short.
Yep.
It's very to the point.
It shows just exactly what you're wanting to say with that video, but no more and no less. So
Definitely. I do like the clarity of it, and it's so clean as well. I noticed that too right off the bat, is that you are dealing with small electronics, but it's all a white background. Is that something that you always recommend? Is
if you can, yeah. I mean, that's done on our photo studio. So
yeah,
it's better than you're going to see in the field, which is something we'll also talk about later.
definitely.
But we're able to control all the lighting in the background and everything and make it as nice as possible. And I think that having the white background and the good lighting definitely eliminates distractions. It makes your video more to the point.
Okay. Definitely. So here's some hard and fast rules. Keep it direct. Each video should be focused on a single process or procedure. So I think, like Gwendolyn, you were just saying about it, is that it was just that one motion.
just one step. You don't want to put multiple steps in a video.
Definitely. I know that, when I'm scrolling through a how-to video, perhaps on YouTube or something, I will probably just kind of drag my cursor until I find the exact moment I want.
Right.
And so you don't want to probably waste that time, that bandwidth, all of that on lengthy videos.
Yeah.
And so
Hunting for just the right part of the video. It's
yeah,
such a pain.
don't want to waste your time on that. Keeping it short, but not too short. What would we say about, I know we said to keep it less lengthy, but what would be kind of, that video was about 10 seconds or so?
If that, yeah, definitely under 10 seconds.
That's what you would recommend?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, 30 seconds is a good, if it's longer than 30 seconds, it's too long.
Okay.
That's a
I
good
feel like even
cutoff
30
rule.
seconds is
But that's
a
very
long
video.
time.
Yeah.
If you're maybe it says remove 5 screws and you show all 5 screws being removed.
Right,
Maybe.
I don't know if that's necessary. Yeah.
But that wouldn't
So-
really be necessary as a video.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. Steve Porter has a question. What is your best advice for a small business just starting out on creating YouTube videos? Gwendolyn, this might be your arena.
Just get started. We'll go into the equipment in a little bit, but if you have a smartphone, you can start today. So I think the best thing is start with your storyboarding. Make sure that it's really concise information, and then go ahead and just get started. Even if all you have is a smartphone, but we'll go into more detail with what you'll need equipment-wise. So.
Absolutely. So with videos, keeping it direct, keeping it short, and last but not least, use your words. So videos accompanied by text. I might, as a user, think, well, I've got a video. Why should I bother writing text? Do you have something to kind of maybe show why you would have both, or?
There are a lot of reasons. You can't print a video.
Yes. Oh no. Yeah. For PDF users, this is not, no.
And then for translation, it's really helpful to have that text accompanying the video and not in the video or not there at all.
Sure.
Okay.
Easier to translate just text than having to re-edit your video. And just really, they should be able to stand on their own. You should be able to look at the video and understand what's happening. You should be able to look at the text and understand what's happening. And that way you get...
They should work together and stand alone.
Exactly.
So.
And that way you get 2 means of educating your users.
Sure.
So people who learn better by watching the video or people who learn better by reading, it accommodates both of them.
Definitely. So one thing that I do know is that you both are not standalone technical writers and or videoists. You have full teams behind you. So I know there's quite a feisty video team behind you, Gwendolyn, every day. And Andrew, you're working with a variety of technical writers or students going into the workforce and everything.
That's right.
So something that I think our audience might care about is how to approach videography with your coworkers. Sometimes it's not always easy to do that, maybe artistic differences, things like that. But yeah, if we could talk about co-directing with coworkers, that probably would be very helpful to our audience members. Yeah, so maybe.
I think for both of us, it's the same thing for taking photographs as well. But definitely for me, if I have someone telling me where to put my hands to make sure that the shot is best, then I'm saving myself a lot of work. There's things I could probably film myself, but then I'd have to shoot it, come around, check it out.
Right.
Because my vision is, I've got a different angle than what the camera is seeing. So it is so imperative to have someone directing while I'm shooting. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a time saver versus, like you said, going back and forth.
You're creating more work for yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that what you guys put. Friends don't let friends film steps alone. Definitely err on the side of having backup. And here's kind of the 4 tips that you guys wrote for co-directing. Alone, again, like you said, you create extra work for yourself. Trust the experts. Number 2 is interesting to me. Ask the people who know the procedure the best. What does that mean?
That's just good advice for any technical writing. A lot of technical writers are not engineers or experts, and so your job is to document what someone else knows a lot more about. And so that means your job is to talk to that person and learn everything that they know. So that you can put it into documentation that's relevant and easy to follow.
Great. And then these kind of, 3 and 4 we'll go into a little bit, but when you're recording and directing, be the boss. And when you're the star, be the voice of reason. And I definitely know you have been the star multiple times, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. But being the boss, your filming subject can't see what they're looking in the viewfinder, so what would be some tips of kind of maybe directing while letting the star be the star? What's that experience like being the boss? I guess maybe Andrew, you've had more experience being the boss in
with
videography.
Photos, and it's the same with photos and video. When you're looking and reviewing you're looking at and reviewing the pictures, you're the person who sees what the end user is going to see. The person who's posing and taking the pictures and doing it has no idea what's coming out of the camera, and so you need to speak up. You need to not be afraid to be a little bossy and be like, no, your hand looks weird, or your hand is
blocking everything completely.
Important things, or there's stuff in the background of the shot that's distracting and shouldn't be there. And so you need to take the initiative and actually direct each frame.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know your video team has given you a lot of directions over the years. Maybe from the star's kind of point of view, what do you appreciate from the boss or from the boss figure?
Yeah, I think the most important thing when you're the one in the shot is just trusting that person, because you're not going to see anything, and it could be the most uncomfortable position, but it looks right on camera. So just trusting that they're seeing what they're seeing, and just being willing to be uncomfortable for a little bit. There's definitely interesting positions when you're trying to shoot either over the camera or from a different angle. But like he was saying, you could easily, if you're holding a device and working on it, you could be blocking the camera. And so listen to who's looking at the camera.
Yeah, it is it's a trust thing. I think it's interesting as well because you added that when you're the star, being the voice of reason, it says you're the one whose hands are in the action, so it's your job to check on the procedure. So I guess that just means making sure that everything is being done as it's supposed to. Well, you want
to listen to make sure that the shot is being taken and that everything looks good, but at the same time you don't want to be say unscrewing something with your pinky up. If it's good for the shot but that's in the shot, then that's not very practical, and you want people to be able to see what you're doing, but at the same time relate to it and not think, oh, that's not real.
Absolutely.
And also it's your job to know that you're doing it right. You're the one
do the repair first, and then make sure that it's easy to do in that way before you document it.
Absolutely. I guess that way the boss can kind of better just focus on making sure it's clear video, it's a well done
Yeah.
video, and you can focus on the actual procedure itself. So yeah, so it's definitely a give and take. Chris Gregory has a question for us. He's asking, what are your views on annotating videos? That's interesting. I don't think iFixit historically annotates, or
We do on our YouTube,
On
channel,
YouTube,
but
yeah.
not in our guides. I don't think.
so what? I guess what would you say to annotating? What would go in an annotation for a video?
Well, that usually falls on our director and producer in here. The annotations, I'm not quite sure how to answer that.
Yeah.
I think it's a
Actually.
great way to add more to your video.
Okay.
Sure,
long
for
as it's
searching and
not-
stuff, but
Right.
You just wouldn't want it to be like embedded in the video.
no.
Oh,
Because
okay.
then if you want to translate or update it, you
Right.
have to re-render the entire thing. So as long as it's like a YouTube annotation where it's overlaid on top and can easily be changed afterwards, then that's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, yeah, and relevance definitely.
Right. You don't
relevance
want
is important.
to cover the entire video with text.
Right. Yeah. Gwen's face is just covered.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've used it a couple of times, but not in our YouTubes, but definitely maybe in a teardown recently. Did we do that?
Yeah, I mean, we don't
Not
really
Gwen's
annotate.
hands.
Yeah.
We did do
yeah.
that.
But as far as in-step guides or
Okay.
in-step
Yeah.
videos, you've got the
In-step
text right
video.
next to it.
Yeah, so you
And-
wouldn't.
You don't want to clutter your video.
Right.
No,
For sure,
And
so.
you don't want you wouldn't want your users, I guess, hunting down for there's a possible annotation.
Right. That pops up for half a second.
Right. Yeah. You'd
And
want
then
to just
disappears.
consistency and absolutely. So I know a lot of you are asking about equipment you need and don't need. So this is I know this section is a little bit tricky because everybody's situation is different depending on budget, depending on need. If you are, it sounds like several of you out there are looking to start a YouTube channel or just create guides in your company. So I guess we can categorize this into maybe the cameras and then into lighting. We won't really be talking about audio today, but I guess what kind of cameras and kind of equipment do we use at iFixit?
Oh, at iFixit, we use Nikon DSLRs. We've got camcorders. We've got some nice equipment because we do a lot of filming and we do it very professionally and with a nice studio.
Yeah.
And it's all very public facing.
Right.
But there's a big difference if you're doing some technical documentation for your company for internal documentation on very, like in a factory type procedures that isn't consumer public facing.
Right.
You don't need that same level of quality and expense, and
Sure.
you can get away with
Absolutely.
much more minimal technology that you have in your pocket all the time,
Yeah.
like a smartphone.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know we've got pretty hefty equipment. Miro, he actually went through it. Another kind of iFixit vet. He did our photography Dozuki workshop series episode, and I know he goes through actually a lot of the equipment for photographs, but you film on it as well
A lot
on
of
those
that varies over.
Nikons and. Yeah, but I know that many people are working with a budget. So, especially if it's internally, would you recommend maybe Androids, iPhones, or are
Any
they all?
modern smartphone, I mean, cameras have come so long in the last couple of years, so any of the more modern flagship phones would have great video capabilities.
Absolutely. The only
Yeah.
thing that with a smartphone is that it all is one step. So you don't have as much control with adjusting small things.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
But it's going to do the job for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I think something that's really important though is definitely the lighting. And like for
Okay.
us, we have lighting that is all in place and it's beautiful.
Right.
But we even have standing lights that we created ourselves. We actually made those. Lights that we bring in if we need to, and in a pinch, you can even use a flashlight on a smartphone
Flashlight.
if you really need.
Have you
extra
ever had to
lighting.
do that before?
Yes,
Use a flashlight?
actually. Yeah, Hyro has pulled out his smartphone.
Middle of a repair video.
Right. Yeah, I think because I know I've seen in the iFixit building there's been kind of more hefty clamp lights or kind of overhanging lights. But it sounds like the flashlight or smartphone flashlight would work as well. I definitely, I especially for the smartphone and the kind of the smaller lights would be great for those of you who are working out in the field, especially if you don't have a whole video crew to carry around the equipment.
Right.
It might be better just to kind of use that smartphone, the smaller light, things like that. Yeah.
And there are a lot of like battery powered lights with a whole array of LEDs
Okay.
that are really useful for in the field. It can
Right.
put out a lot of light, but you don't need a power cord.
Definitely. So with equipment, the successful setup is kind of what we want to talk about is whether you're out in the field or in a studio, whatever your kind of the environment you're working with. I think when you kind of mentioned it first, kind of the importance of it, but lighting. Lighting is
Right.
huge. And so, but lighting is also treated very differently inside versus outside.
Absolutely, yeah. So be mindful of the time of day that you're filming if you're going to be outside.
Right.
It's obviously a lot harder to control lighting when
Right.
you're outside.
The weather.
So if
Yeah.
it's possible, filming inside is a lot easier to control and less distracting because from shot to shot you're getting the same lighting.
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. Is there this might seem very minute, but is there a time of day that perhaps you'd recommend in terms of, because I know at noon maybe the shadows, it would be a lot harsher.
Right, you don't want harsh lighting.
Overcast is great.
Overcast is wonderful
yeah.
if you can plan your weather.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the reason for that, the overcast, is it makes it kind of less like
It
harsh.
diffuses
You're not
the
going to
harsh
have
lighting.
the blown out look.
Okay.
You don't want that.
Great. And then in the studio, I know that we actually have a picture of kind of an iFixit technician working in one of our teardown rooms. And the lightings that he's working with, those are the clamp lights, I believe.
Yeah, that's actually the lighting equipment we give to our students
Oh,
working
okay,
on the
great.
university project.
Yeah.
So it's the minimum that you need, and it's very inexpensive. Those are $15 lights at Home Depot.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I'm gonna create my own studio now with that. And then I see the kind of the white background there. Kind of what we were talking about earlier with the other videos, how they're clean. That looks like a fairly.
Yeah.
clean
I think the
spot and
clamping is
everything.
just as important too, because then you'll have a little more control and you're not worried about that falling anywhere,
Right.
or you're able to adjust it to where you need it without worrying about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be able to point it and finesse
Yeah.
it sort of to have. You definitely want
Direct
two sources
lighting.
of light.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
two
then-
sources of light. Okay.
And then
okay.
you can point them in a nice little crossing over your object to eliminate shadows.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Definitely, because you don't want behind it to start getting unclear with the harsh shadows and everything. So and you said to cross it, so that
Yeah.
means just on either like side of the object, perhaps, or okay.
Yeah, I mean that setup
Great.
right there, where you've got a light on either side
Yeah.
and the camera in the center. That's pretty much ideal.
Great. And then I know this is a really great photo I love of I think a student was working with iFixit. It looks like he's repairing a smartphone of some kind. He does not have the fabulous Home Depot lights, but he is working with what he's got.
Got a fancy desk light there.
He does have a fancy desk light.
That one can be directional.
Yeah.
Right there. That looks good.
And it looks like he's doing what you're saying is just the two lights at the very least, kind of crossing each other. Is there ever a problem? I know, I've got a desk lamp like that, and sometimes it has like kind of a yellow tinge. Does that matter if it's, they're this exact same shade, or would that be a problem, or is it just as
You
long as you've
definitely
got the
want-
lighting?
Different bulbs.
You definitely want all of your
Yeah.
bulbs to be the same color temperature.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how much that would affect it if we have to care
So-
about that as
Right.
much. But
Some
Yeah.
some bulbs have a blue tinge. Some
Okay.
have that orange.
Right.
You want to make sure that they're both the same.
kind of the
Right.
same. Yeah. I imagine.
In
it'll-
houses, it's generally the lower color temperature, which is like the warmer, yellower hue.
Yeah.
Or amber color. Yeah.
And it's fine to use that because you can correct that with white balance.
Okay.
But
yeah.
like Gwen said, if you have two bulbs that are different, it screws with
It's
things.
bad.
And some light is
Yeah.
one and
That'd be a
some's
lot
another.
harder.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
yeah,
To
it's really
adjust.
hard.
Yeah.
You'll
Yeah,
get
so
weird
just
colors.
keep them the same. Keep them the same.
Yeah.
Something else that we talked about that folks might, I'd imagine, just kind of forget to get, or I think that's the least equipment they should worry about is a tripod. How important is a tripod? Should people really invest in that? or-
Absolutely.
The most important.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Yeah, most important.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Because if you can get a tripod for your iPhone and you don't have a Canon or something, it's still just as important.
Still just important.
You don't want to be showing a pretty intense step with a shaky camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not great.
No.
And no matter how much you kind of angle your elbow or try to hold still, human beings are probably
Especially
just
with
not
close-up
gonna-
shots, it's
Yeah.
really hard to keep things steady. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great shot of Gwen, you out in the field with the
Oh.
tripod. Super exciting. I remember that you were doing kind of
Bike repair.
Yeah, bike
Yeah.
repair.
Bike kitchen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really great. It's a good looking tripod. So the next one we want to talk about is get with the picture. And really that's just kind of your quick and dirty tips and tricks about kind of framing, positioning, what you're looking for when you're looking in that viewfinder. So perhaps this is for all the potential bosses out there in this boss-star relationship, is what you'd ideally want to see in the viewfinder. So the first one I know you both gave was focus. So focus is a big issue. And I see this first still it's in focus to me.
Parts of it are.
Yep.
Yeah, but not the correct part.
Right. What are we focusing on?
Right. Do you remember what this is just a Nerf? This is a Nerf gun?
This is assembling a Nerf gun.
Nice.
From a guide that we have just demonstrating how to take awesome photos, and so we've got good and bad examples of a lot of different shots.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is in focus, but perhaps not on what actually matters.
Right.
This next one which is the point of contact, where the tool is actually working with the material itself.
And that's an easy mistake to make because the hand's just there, so that's the shot you get. But make sure that your focus is definitely the step that you're trying to convey.
Right.
Yeah, you want what you're showing the user to be perfectly in focus and near the center of the screen, so that they're just sort of naturally drawn to that. And these are photography tips, but these all carry over into video.
Into video as well, absolutely. This next one too. So certainly focus is a big issue. You want to be clear as possible, but also to help that clarity of what's going on. I thought this was interesting. I never thought of it before, but number 2, aim for the first person perspective. So we have a picture of the Nerf gun again, and this is not first person perspective, or what? Maybe you can describe what's happening in this image.
So the hand is coming in from the side, and I mean you can totally understand what to do there. It's not a horrible picture. But if we go to the next one, you can see the hand coming in from the bottom. Now the user can perfectly relate to exactly what's happening, and I can even just put my hand exactly like that hand is, and I'm there. You know, I don't have to think about how to get to that screw or
or turning the device or whatever you're.
Around.
Yeah, you want to make sure that it's as easy and self-explanatory.
Absolutely, a little bit, probably just a little quicker instead of taking that, sparing that extra 3 to 5 seconds of I've got to switch this Nerf gun around. Yeah, it'd definitely be.
And the more complicated the device, the more important this is. When you're working on a big, huge machine. If you've got hands coming in from where they wouldn't be or anything, it's really hard to locate yourself, find that part you need to take out. And this definitely helps a lot.
For our videos, we have wide shots where I explain a step before we show the step. And so I'm directing all the information towards the camera, and in a guide it would obviously be in words. But in order to show that step, we turn the camera where I'm behind the camera and make sure that people can see it as if it were them.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And so this third one is interesting. So this, Gwendolyn, this is more about you always being open. So when Gwendolyn does the videos versus probably more so when Andrew does the videos, you're not in first person perspective, which is fine because you're doing an overview.
Yeah, the close-ups usually are in first person, but again, the information is not. So they'll see it in front of me as if we make sure the close-up is something different. So this is kind of a still shot of you working on a video. Do you remember what this one was? What's happening? We're talking about strip screws there, and what to do when you encounter one. So in this case, you can see that my elbow is up, which if I were doing the repair without a camera around, my elbow would not be that high.
That's probably not naturally how you would approach this.
But you want to make sure that you can see everything that's being done, the tool, where it's going, so just make sure that you're showing everything.
Absolutely. And I like this next one from the same video because I actually did not know this trick before watching it myself. Rubber band. Just going up from the house. And I like it because there's a lot happening. You're working with 2 tools, the machine itself and then your hands. And I appreciate that your hand's not. I appreciate the uncomfortable probably positioning you went through just so that way we could see this. So.
Yeah, that's a good example of when a video would be appropriate because you're using 2 hands. So it's hard to say with one hand do this and all the steps that go along with that one hand and then bring in your other hand doing this. So being able to show it in one step in a matter of 10 seconds is a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got another question from Lucy Lopez. Such a great active audience today. I'm so excited. She wants to know, what would be a suitable lighting equipment setup when recording in the dark?
Night vision goggles.
Night vision goggles. We're all in camo in night vision goggles. Maybe the flashlight technique, is that what you, so I guess what would you say to that?
I'm not sure why you would be recording a step in the dark.
Working late at night, maybe?
It depends if you're talking about outside or in the studio. I mean, in the studio, we don't have any windows. So without our lighting setup, we are in the dark.
In this room.
Yeah, so our lighting is always consistent in that case. But if you are trying to film in the dark,
if you're outside.
Bring in as many lights as possible.
Lots
whatever
of
you can find.
Yeah. You really want a lot of different sources, especially if it's completely dark outside.
Yeah.
More than the two.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you can find it.
Because any
duct tape, some flashlights.
Bring my desk lamp, bring my clamp lamp, bring Hyro with his flashlight, one of our technicians. Okay. Yeah, definitely. So more lights the better with outside.
Yeah, every light will create a very stark shadow if you're outside in the dark.
Yeah.
So the more you have, the more those shadows you can diffuse.
Right.
And when it's a very stark shadow against a well-lit device, your exposure is going to be either blown out device or completely black on the shadow.
Yeah.
So you really want to diffuse the shadows.
Yeah, making it less clear, less aesthetically sound and professional looking as well. Yeah. Definitely. Well, there's definitely a lot to think about with videography. Since the title of this episode is Video Tips and Tricks, I guess would you each have if there's one takeaway that our audience members need to know, what's perhaps the most important thing to always remember when pursuing videos, whether in guides or your YouTube channels and whatnot?
You want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. For me, it's definitely working with a buddy and being just open and having that open communication, even when it's uncomfortable, and just listening to whoever's directing and whoever's got the best view for the step, because that's the ultimate goal. You want to make sure that that you're getting the best view of what's happening, and as the person in the video, you might not have that. So just be open and communicate.
Yeah, definitely. No one person should be watching this. Share this with your coworkers. Make sure you've got a good buddy system. Definitely. Yeah. And then Andrew,
I think my point ties in perfectly with yours. Is always remember the user. You need to always put yourself in their shoes. Think about how hard this is going to be for them, and then adjust your level of what you're trying to get them to do based on if they're going to be able to do it. And then also frame every shot, thinking of them.
Absolutely. And I'd imagine too, when maybe the folks out there who are perhaps training new employees, definitely ask them questions if that worked or not, especially if they're seeing the procedure or this repair guide or this how-to guide for the first time in video format. You want to make sure that their voice is heard. Does that make sense? Does it not? Especially for English as a second language. Certainly work with more people than just the one or just a certain level. Absolutely. Well, we are open up for additional questions in our remaining time in this episode, so feel free to type them into the Google Hangout forum at the bottom of your screen. We'll be answering them and everything, but meanwhile, we have some great additional resources that you might want to keep in mind, so feel free to ask the questions, but I also wanted to make sure to throw this out to our users. Dozuki.com has a great answers forum, so if you follow that link, dozuki.com/answers/videography, this is, I'm gonna practice this. You can fill in your questions either now or long after this episode's over, and we will make sure to answer all your questions. Another really great resource is the Tech Writing Handbook, and I know you're both familiar with that. If you want to maybe give us kind of a summary of what the Tech Writing Handbook is.
Yeah, it's a short, freely available PDF online that was written a lot by tech writers at iFixit.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
others at iFixit, all collaboratively.
It's very visual too.
It's
beautiful.
Very visual.
It's beautiful to look at.
Full of illustrations.
Fans of photos and videos and illustrations. It is online for free, so keep that in mind. Either you can access it right online or actually download it and share it. I believe chapter 7 is the one that touches on videography. So if you wanted to read a little bit more about videos and everything, that's where you'd want to go. We do have a question from Daniel Brian. Question is, if filming a tutorial, how do you film less boring sounding voiceovers? So I know we didn't really go into audio, but interesting voiceovers.
This is a Gwen question.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a Gwen question.
Well, if it's going in a guide, I would stay away from voiceovers.
Okay.
I think it would take away from the actual step. And you can see that in our complete video guides, where it's a whole video. We direct you to the point, we explain what's about to happen, and then we show you without any audio. So we don't want to distract from that. So if you can avoid any audio in the step, I would suggest that.
And you're just saying, for especially just to make sure your users are focusing on what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And also for translation, if you have audio in your video and you're relying on that, then you'll need subtitles or something. But
Because again, you want them to stand alone.
Right.
The information and the video need to be able to stand alone, but work together. So
Yeah, I know I've seen some how-to videos with really strange, either voiceovers that aren't very relative or it just kind of confuse me even more. I end up muting it. Or just strange music. I don't know why some users really want to put music into their videos, whether it's like the Jurassic Park theme song or something really strange and epic and
really intense.
You're like, wow, this how-to is really like getting me excited. But maybe stay away from that, I'd say.
anything that's distracting, you want to make sure that your point is getting across without that extra push. So.
Absolutely, and it just takes worrying about audio takes a lot more time, a lot more equipment, more money.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a rabbit hole, I think. So not to deter people from, I guess, going and doing audio, but maybe err on the side of
step.
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter Muey, he is asking, lights often create artifacts on eyeglasses or reflective surfaces. Any tips or tricks for dealing with that? Reflective surfaces, they tend to be a problem. Absolutely. Would you say anything that would be a good kind of just rule of thumb, perhaps, with that? Or
play with your camera angles if you can.
Angles.
Yeah, camera angles. I don't know. Do you have any?
Yeah, you can use a diffuser on your light source.
Okay.
So some kind of, we use paper here, and in the photo room we've got a white sheet sort of that stretches across the lamps, and that'll make it a less harsh light source.
Okay.
If you're really dealing with some crazy distractive glare, like a piece of black poster board, have a third person in there, and they can hold it up.
More buddies.
Yeah. More buddies. We like the buddy system.
And they can hold it up and block that source.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when they're using that black cardboard, right? It's on the side of the camera. That's where you're positioning it.
Yeah. Look through your camera, see where the reflection, and then go ahead and just try
And
to
just
hold
block
that
just
up.
that, but try not
Just
to block too much of the other light because you're still relying on that
Yeah,
light.
you don't want to just all of a sudden go into the lamp and no more light. It was interesting about the diffusers. So I know you can get pretty deep into purchasing all this equipment. Is there just kind of maybe if someone wanted to go to Home Depot or Target or something just kind of to buy, would it just be like a white sheet of like printer paper? Would that potentially work? Or
For a diffuser, depending on your light source, some come with them where it's like a little stretchy, like a fitted sheet almost that fits over
and not the
light
bed
source.
sheet. So we're not bringing in our bed sheets into work or anything.
Don't burn anything.
Don't
Be
burn.
careful with your diffusing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we use just I guess a wrapping paper type.
It kind of looks like butcher paper, sort of like that kind of that thinner.
We have barn doors on our hanging lights that we can just clip those on with clothespins, and it works just fine.
Yeah, maybe play with it because you don't want to certainly block the light.
Right.
You want it to still seep through.
Absolutely,
so make sure it's kind of thinner. We do. So another question from John. I believe it's pronounced Lemon. Any advice for working with an in-house video group, or should tech writers just do it their own? Is there any standard for how tech informational videos should look? So there's a lot of questions going on here. So we'll take it one by one. Any advice for working with an in-house video group? So I feel like that would be more Gwendolyn, you're working with the team.
Yeah, so for us, we work off of Andrew's information. So we work in tandem, but our goals are the same, but we do very different things.
Right.
And I think we trust their information, they're trusting us with that we're putting it out there correctly. So again, that's just a lot of communication and making sure that when the video team comes in that they're able to ask questions and say, this step I'm not quite sure what you're saying here, and getting that communication and making sure that you're conveying that in video the way that the information is being given to you. So.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask those questions. No question is too simple or
Yeah, because your
anything.
viewers will have the same questions. So
Yeah.
make sure that you're answering them before it goes out there.
And we really appreciate the feedback
Yeah.
because it's great feedback for our guides and great QA.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you guys are confused by something or don't understand something, we probably wrote it wrong.
Yeah, because it is something interesting with iFixit is that I know that your audience is a massive range of people from professionals who are well versed in either electronic devices or whatever it is you might be repairing, but you also do have kind of those first time repairers or students, a lot of the students and everything. So maybe just even if it's just within your own company, err on the side that just ask the question. If
Absolutely.
even in doubt, maybe just ask the question. So that actually answers the second one, John's second question. Should tech writers do their own? Probably not, right? Tech writers
Depends
maybe
on your
don't.
scale.
Yeah.
If you're only doing a few videos, then sure.
Okay.
But if you want high quality, professional videos, you're going to need your own department for that.
Definitely. And his third question, is there any standard for how tech informational videos should look? So we went through definitely a lot of kind of tips about framing, positioning. I guess, is there maybe kind of standard that you would recommend? It should be this
Just
far
following
away?
our
or-
guidelines, I think.
Yeah.
You definitely want to make sure that the action is clearly visible. So zoom in close enough that you can see it, but not so close that you're lost and confused on the device.
Right. Yeah.
But really, the standard is just to follow our
Yeah.
guidelines.
I think if you're really close to the situation, you know what the step is, and you're filming it, have someone else who's never done the repair watch it.
Yeah.
And just make sure they understand what's going on, and maybe that can help you before you put it out to the world.
Into the
Right.
world, yeah. You can always check out www.ifixit.com to see all the repair guides. iFixit has created a great kind of brand, a standard for how you approach it. So if you just comb through a lot of those, they're all done in a very similar way. You'll get the feel of it. And because iFixit does work with so many different types of users, I feel like it's a fairly successful kind of system that that iFixit's got going on. So
Yeah,
so
we're kind of the proving grounds for Dozuki.
Yeah.
That we teach here.
Yeah,
learn
they
what
do.
works.
They do use the Dozuki platform, and we get feedback all the time, on both sides. So it's actually a really great setup we've got. So we've got another question from Peter Mui. Guidelines for flat illumination versus high contrast illumination when dealing with close-ups, like circuit boards. So I guess do we have guidelines for kind of, I guess, I mean,
Lighting.
we did talk about lighting a little bit, but maybe we could just hit on a couple of those points just one more time for our viewers.
Yeah, whatever's clearest. Like high contrast for super close-ups of circuit boards and isolating individual components. That makes sense. That's good.
Right. You want the details really to pop.
Right. Whatever you're convey whatever you're trying to convey and do what's best for that. If you're trying to show individual resistors and point them out or solder them or something, then yes, do that. If you're trying to show how to fit that circuit board into a device,
An entire board, yeah.
then you're
Yeah.
going to want the softer lighting that's more natural, more like an actual person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just make sure everything you're showing is in the light. So
Yeah.
if it's
In the light.
if it's bigger, then have
Follow
more
the
light.
light. I think we have another question from Aria Hebar. After I shoot a video on my cell phone, which software should I use to edit it? It's a basic question, but Aria's new to this. So, I think we've definitely chatted about software in the past. I mean, software is a rabbit hole to get into, but I guess what would be kind of the general feel for how would you even approach that world of software?
Right. Well, like I said, if you're shooting a step, hopefully you won't need too much editing. And if you're on a smartphone, you might be using basic stuff anyway. Most Macs come with their iMovie. It's not the best situation, but it will work.
But for simple stuff, like you said, if it's a
For simple stuff.
10-second to 30-second clip,
Sure.
then iMovie might do it, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what we use at iFixit or?
Yeah, we use Adobe Premiere, and we use that for everything. So that would be my suggestion if you have it. I know it's a little more of an expensive option.
Right.
So if you're just starting out and you're not sure if you're sticking with that, I would say if you want the best, go for that.
Yeah.
Go for Premiere. But if not, there might be a couple of other things that you can try out before
Right.
to make sure that that's something that you're able to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can always, kind of upgrade,
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
And,
As you learn,
You have
for sure.
you have a huge channel and a lot of filming to do. So that would be on a maybe a higher price point. But yeah, I think as long as you're around the 10-second line, then
Hopefully you won't need any
Try-
editing.
yeah, hopefully you won't need
You can just
anything.
show that one
if
step.
you've got good lighting, then maybe you'll be fine. Roman Brick wants to know, how about polarized camera filters? So this is again into kind of the more equipment side of things. Do we have any strong opinions about kind of polarization? No. I know Mira talks about it a lot actually in taking professional photography. So that might be a really great resource to hear what he had to say about it. He spent quite a bit of time on it. But.
Yeah, I'd probably refer to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And because on that note, some additional resources, not just those websites, but taking professional photos with Mira Jurek. Oh, I messed up his last name. Jurek, and 45 minutes, to better writing with Julia Bluff. Those are two of our other Dozuki episodes that I know you both have actually worked with both Miro and Julia in the past. And you can just find that on Dozuki's site, still for free. You can record it, download it, share it, all that great stuff if you're craving more information, certainly. So we're going to be closing up soon, so we'll just take any last minute questions that y'all have. If not, I wanted to give a shout out to ways to contact Andrew and Gwendolyn. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
People might ask you with very hard questions about, what do I do? Well, Andrew, your email is andrew@ifixit.com. Great way to contact you, or the iFixit phone number.
Right.
And Gwendolyn, I know you have a very strong internet presence. Is there a preferred way to approach
Absolutely,
you?
you can email me as well at Gwendolyn@ifixit. But I do check my Twitter quite often, and I love
She's
my
very
friends on
famous on
Twitter.
there.
So go ahead and find me at Gwendolyn Gay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've seen your Twitter feed. You've got a great, healthy followers. People love you on the
They're
YouTube
so fun.
channel.
I love my friends on Twitter. Yeah.
It's really great. Yeah, so feel free to contact them. Contact myself at kate@dozuki.com or on my own Twitter handle, not as popular as Gwendolyn's, but that's okay, at Kate Emma Smith. And you can contact us either right now or in the future, or we're all here as resources. But I think we're gonna close up. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the both of you. This was
Absolutely, it was fun.
Great.
our first time with two experts, and you did beautifully talking together, especially since you both come from kind of different sides of the videography experience. But thank you so much, and hope to see everybody next time on the Dozuki Workshop Series, our next episode. We'll announce that soon, so stay tuned for when that's released. And have a great rest of the week, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.